Hey, welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to the Council on Future Conflict. My name is Scott. I'm the proprietor of the Future Conflict channel. Today, we got episode 613. We're talking Iran continues to burn and boatloads of trouble. And I called this boatloads of trouble because I was like, well, there's just so much stuff that I want to stick into the second segment that is not about just one topic. It's like a boatload. Well, as it turns out, there is literally a boatload of trouble getting ready, going down probably right now.
Prepping for the show.
Going down right now is a boatload of trouble as the Navy, Coast Guard, all the above are in the process of boarding that tanker ship in the North Atlantic that recently reflagged itself as Russian. So we'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about a bunch of other stuff. A lot of stuff to get to today. Iran continues to go in a positive direction. I refuse to, be, negative about this because I'll be honest with you. If it goes bad, you're talking about like genocide numbers of deaths that would come out of this. So I'm going to lean on the hopium side for the Iranian people. And it'd just be nice if we had another country in the world we could go on vacation to. I'm just saying.
I don't think I'd ever go on vacation to Iran.
No,
I don't think I'll ever be able to get over the stigma of that place.
Well, yeah, it's one of those kind of things. I would go just as a kind of like, oh, they love us now. It's still kind of, hasn't fully recovered yet, but I might go. I might do it. A little adventure travel. That's all right.
Wouldn't mind some pistachios, but that's about it.
Yeah, that's another piece of big news today is Joe, how are you doing today? I'll just leave this right here as you answer that question.
I'll tell you, I am doing pretty darn good. The Mike Vining thing was cool. Mike Vining is one of those dudes that like we all know of, and all of us thought he was like one of the coolest dudes ever to have walked this earth. And then when he popped up with an account and then followed me, I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. Now, it's one of those mixed blessings. When Mike Vining is following you, your days are probably numbered on this planet. So which kind of following he's doing.
You better watch your step, boy.
Yeah.
That is cool. That is one account you don't want to receive a good morning from. That's
So he's got a book coming out, so that's pretty cool. And I think we should be watching for that book release to drop. That'll be neat. Yesterday, I had a visit from old Hong Kong. He came bearing food that he had made himself, and it was absolutely amazing. So if that guy ever offers to cook for you, say yes, please, because he knows his way around a kitchen. So it's pretty cool. He hung out yesterday, and we did a couple things around the camp, and he filled me in on his current endeavors, and I wish him luck in it. So a lot of cool stuff going on. I feel bad for him because he has to meet with the Ukrainian delegation in a couple of days. So, but good luck. Good luck, son.
I'm sure they're in excellent humor.
Yeah.
First before I make any more comments, Watcher, how are you doing today?
Half dead, but I'm here. Tired. Don't catch viruses, kids. It's not good for you.
That's what they say. Yeah, I mean, I hope you feel better, Watcher. I'm sure the chat will boost you up there a little bit.
For sure,
as they do.
What do we got here, Scott?
Oh, just a little fuck around and find out. Robert De Niro says he has no choice but to leave New York City now that Mondani is officially the mayor. He wants to take half of my savings because I'm wealthy. I haven't worked in some time. My savings is all I have. De Niro was an avid supporter of the communists during the campaign. He looks like he's reached the find out portion of his choices.
You mean? I think this gets summed up in that perfect old meme. But I didn't expect the Jaguar to eat my face, says person who voted for the Jaguars for eating people's faces party.
That's right. Well, this is the whole thing. Like, well, we actually never really thought that the communists would win. It's like, fuck.
No.
Oh, we have
Hopefully
one
we can
more pre odds and ends one. If you would the link at the top of the page there, if you'd open that one up. We've been talking about silver going up in value and things like that. Well, this guy evidently decided, well, now's the good time to take some profit, as he brings a 1,000 ounce bar ingot of iron. I mean, of silver into the. Look at that. So they're testing it. They needed a different machine to do it because something that could actually penetrate it fully.
And then testing the specific gravity using water displacement. Yeah, I mean,
why is that guy wearing that pistol way back there?
That's the guy who brought it in, I think.
No, the guy who brought it in is sitting in the chair.
Oh! I thought the guy in the chair had a pistol too.
Yeah, this is a core sample is the only way on this.
Yeah, so basically you have to drill. Well, they gave him his money.
Wow.
Oh.
That's a big old bar of silver.
Damn.
Yeah, the guy probably bought it dirt cheap back in the day.
I know he probably got it for like $15 an ounce or something like that. Oh, silver's down. I might as well just buy $15,000 worth. Maybe it'll be worth 20 someday. What's silver at right now, by the way? Is it still in the 70s?
Check for one.
Let's see.
Well, the interesting thing is that you can't the miners are selling it for $3 over the melt price, so the spot price.
78.11 spot
80.
price.
Yeah, it's almost 80. And it's upward. It's 7% upward pressure since yesterday, so it's going to keep going.
You see when all the big stock guys try to get people to stop when they're like, "Oh, look, silver's crashing," when it lost 3%, despite being up wherever for however far. So
it's fucking ridiculous. Anyway, so silver metals are still a thing, just.
Oh, listen, there's a lot of people in the chat that are concerned about my health. You guys, I have children. They're tiny petri dishes that run around collecting everything possible, sticking dirt in their mouth and everything imaginable. No,
but they've noticed that you seem to be more susceptible to sickness than the average bear. So maybe that's what they're worrying about.
It could be true.
Karen O and I have the same policy. I just refuse to get sick.
Oh, yeah. Somebody was like, "Are you aware germs can't enter your body if you tell them that they don't have permission?"
Yeah. They don't have consent. They have to leave. So, but no, seriously, like my wife's been sick now for almost 3 weeks, and not a hint because I just say I'm not. I don't accept that. That's not going to happen to me. So,
yeah, it's a mind over
rare
matter.
Occasions when I do get sick, it is a doozy, and I know I'm going to die. So,
all right, gentlemen. Anything else before we jump in? So Greenland is back on the menu, gentlemen. Evidently, and if you listen to the Europeans, they think we're getting ready to roll the invasion fleet into.
Well, they're being absolutely ridiculous. Nobody said we were going to invade Greenland or attack it.
No, but now that they're acting like it, I think we should keep pretending because it's hilarious. Maybe it'll make them actually take their
I do like.
Look,
I do.
Here's my strategy. Here's how we drive NATO to actually do their defense funding. We just continue to find little assets of theirs that would be really easy to pick off, and we keep pretending like we're going to take them until they actually strengthen their defense enough that they can defend it themselves.
I think we should take up the mantle of Norway and be like, we're standing up for Norway's stolen land.
All that I would do is simply accept the offer that the Danish Prime Minister said just the other day. The United States still has basing rights and can reoccupy their bases at any time. Okay, reoccupy your bases, and then you essentially own Greenland.
Joe, I heard an interesting thing about Canada. What they should do is just have the Native Americans up in Canada basically claim the entire country as a land claim, and then turn right around and sell it back to America for like $10 billion.
Well, it actually, the actual tweet you're referencing said for something in a carton of smokes. I mean,
I know, but you could actually probably get them to part with it for.
Yeah.
But the sad thing is the Canadians are literally doing that to themselves, with the whole land claim thing. Ugh, it's fucking nuts.
The land acknowledgement stuff is stupid. There is no reason of hating on yourself. Look, man, y'all fought some wars. Y'all lost them. There are consequences for that. Get over it.
Well, it's one of those kind of things. If you want to acknowledge who owned this land before you did, that's fine. But to take it one step further and go back to them and say, okay, you now have the right to take this land from the people who now own houses on it.
Here's the thing,
which is exactly what they're doing.
Even native themselves, so they can just be quiet. The Siberian Americans,
yes,
are not native to America.
The further we turn to people realizing that there really is only the law of conquest and whoever rules their rules work, the happier I am.
Yeah, that's what the 2000s are dumb, right? Because we just erased the prior 10,000 years of human history, right? It's silly.
Yeah. All right, back to the story. Why Trump wants Greenland and what makes it so important for national security. So, I mean, I know a lot of people are kind of scratching their head on this one. Some people say, oh, it's about the minerals. Some people say it's, defense related. Some people say it's, Trump's ego and he wants to set up a golf course on Greenland. I don't know how that would go. So what's the deal? So Trump says it's so strategic. Right now, Greenland is covered with Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security. His comments, which came hot in the heels of the audacious military operation in Venezuela, sounded the alarm across Europe, with Denmark warning that an American takeover of Greenland would mark the end of the NATO military alliance. No, it would just mark the end of Denmark in NATO.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
I know, right? The U.S. president, however, is yet to waver. Indeed, the White House ramped up transatlantic tensions even further on Tuesday, saying that Trump and his team were considering a range of options to make the self-governing Danish territory a part of the United States, including utilizing the United States military.
Can I point out that was just a twisting of words? It was a stupid question that Carolyn Leavitt responded to, and she fell for the trap, right? The question was, is he considering a military option? She said he's considering all of his options, and for the U.S. president, a military option is always there. They're not actually considering a military option to take over Greenland.
But you don't take anything off the table. You always say you're basically considering everything. Position between the U.S. and Russia, Greenland has long been. So here's the thing: what this article sounds like, kind of the normal, oh my God, the clutching at pearls kind of thing. But then once it starts to get in here, it actually starts explaining exactly why it would make a whole lot of sense for America to control Greenland. The territory of nearly 57,000 people is close proximity to the emerging Arctic shipping routes and a rapid melting ice, creating opportunities for substantially reduced Asia-European travel time when compared to the Suez Canal. Greenland also sits aside the so-called GI-UK gap, a naval choke point between Greenland, Iceland, and the UK that links the Arctic and the Atlantic Ocean. So, Joe, this is one of the things that actually impressed me about this article is they actually knew what the GI-UK gap was.
My problem is they called it the so-called GI-UK gap. It's not so-called. It's been in existence for a long time.
That's right. That's exactly right. Well, I makes me wonder if maybe this person actually read Tom Clancy at one point. Right. Alongside the strategic geopolitical position, Greenland is also known for its abundance of untapped raw materials, from oil and gas reserves to critical minerals deposits, and a treasure trove of rare earth elements. These critical minerals and rare earth elements are vital components to emerging technologies such as wind turbines, electric vehicles, energy storage technologies, and national security applications. China repeatedly sought to leverage its near monopoly on rare earths to exert pressure on the United States last year. Trump is a real estate guy. Clayton Allen, who practiced a Eurasian group, a political risk consultancy. He said that Greenland is sitting on some of the most valuable real estate in terms of economic advantage and strategic defense for the next 3 to 5 decades. Shipping routes, to be sure, the U.S. already has a presence on Greenland. The former Thule Air Base. When did they rename that? The what do they call it? Pituffik Space Base now is located northwest of Greenland, just across from the Baffin Bay, Nunavut, Canada. It's estimated around 150 service members are permanently stationed there, coming down from 6,000 during the Cold War. For good reason, the U.S. has early warning air base northwest Greenland because the shortest route for a ballistic missile to reach the continental U.S. is via Greenland and the North Pole.
And it extends the Greenland Sea a little bit south into what's actually the Norwegian Sea, but okay. You're taking a little bit of It's not the Gulf of America, baby. You can't just rename water.
A more recent and emerging threat or factor is the fact that the Greenland straddles 2 potential shipping routes through the Arctic and the Northwest Passage and the Transpolar Sea Route. And as climate change see, this is why I don't think these people realize that climate change is not melting the ice in any, we should have been able to do summer passages already, but they still can't do that.
Yeah, according to the people who keep trying to sell us on the idea, we should already Alaska should be one of the most profitable places in the U.S. right now, given the amount of shipping traffic they should be seeing on a daily basis. It's not happening.
By the way, I just want to say thank you for one of my favorite lines.
Yes, the National Security Advisor in Hunt for Red October. Yeah.
Peace be written by, of course, the great prophet Tom Clancy. Peace be upon him. All right. Let's see. As the climate change continues to render those routes more viable, there are commercial interests. Whoa! Did you just mistype that, low key LARP?
Oh. Whoa.
Low key LARP has just gifted 50 subscriptions to Future Conflict. Now, dude, that is
Thank you.
So generous, man.
Holy cow.
Yeah, that's awesome, brother. Appreciate you.
I know you probably don't want us to stop the show because you don't usually do that. You donate a thing to make us, say something otherwise, but thank you, man. Seriously.
Loki says it's been a great year for me. Guess what, man? And you're giving it back to others and doing well. Hey.
Yeah, we totally appreciate that, man. We clearly don't do this for the followers or for anything like that. But man, when you guys say thank you like that, it really hits.
So for all of you in the YouTube chat, I would pop over into the Rumble chat and get it for
So that's just it. If you're watching on YouTube, go over to Rumble, sign in, get in the chat. All you have to do is comment one time, I think, and it will automatically give you, by default, one of the memberships.
Yeah.
So Bandit right here was not a member.
He says color in the chat,
and then he gets one here.
So yeah, good stuff.
All right.
Wait, we've got 150 service members stationed there? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, we used to have a lot.
Well, yeah, but that must be one of the shittiest postings. I'm sorry, man.
Well, back in the day, my understanding was kind of fun because there was a lot of you partied a lot, you drank a lot, and it was just a good time place because the weather was so shitty.
Makes sense.
Peter says helicopter tours for $1 says, wait a second, what would it take to get us kicked out of NATO?
That's what I would say.
Just remember, when you own the club, they can't really kick you out of your own club.
We could make everyone leave. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
You don't have to go home. You can't stay here.
Let's see. Opinion polls have shown previously that Greenlanders overwhelmingly oppose U.S. control. Yeah, it's because the Danish polls,
The Danish free stuff is just too good.
Well, but see, Joe, if we showed up with our free stuff, I mean, let's be honest, nobody gets as much free shit as America does because, like our budget is just absolutely massive compared to theirs. And if Trump wanted to make that deal, he could literally, he could drop $50,000 on every man, woman, and child that lives there as a one-time gift, and then offer some sort of like going forward, you pay zero taxes or something like that.
So they don't want to be in the U.S. and they want independence from Denmark. But how are they going to do that? They don't produce anything on their own without Danish support, right?
Well, I think this is where what they need to look at is like one of these free association agreements, like what we do with some of the islands of the Pacific, the Pacific Islands, like the Marianas Islands, I think is one of the yeah. Or a territory or something like that, where they get all the benefits. Let's be honest, just being American citizens would be a huge fucking benefit for these people.
It's true.
And then give them access to Grok for free to educate them, in the English language.
Dude,
here's probably the real reason.
Gotta stop with the AI sucking off. My God,
I'm telling you, man, it's a good tool for teaching. Anyway,
no, human beings are a better tool for teaching.
Well, except for the leftists.
Don't let a computer tell you. Once you outsource your thinking and your learning to a computer, you can be easily manipulated. I'm sorry, but that's true. Anyway, do we necessarily need 50,000 dependent people who vote socialist?
No, I don't think so. But here at the very end of the article, they finally mentioned what I think is probably one of the more key actual things. Like, okay, being able to close the gap is great, but in the modern era, particularly with Trump's drive for the Golden Dome, Greenland represents the prime real estate that you actually need to put those interceptors on in order to make that work.
So analysts say Greenland would provide useful to the U.S. as a staging ground for the greater defense presence and as a location for U.S. missile interceptors, particularly in the context of one of Donald Trump's administration's key policies, a Golden Dome.
And specifically that space base that we just mentioned, it's got a radar station that is like is our main early warning polar radar station.
Some X-band radar or something along these lines. Let's see, and then of course
it thinks you should replace me with AI, so that's cool.
And it goes on to national or economic security. So anyway, point is the article actually does a pretty good job of explaining the argument for why people in the Trump administration feel it's important for us to have control of that. Now, I don't necessarily buy it completely. I don't think it's the worst idea I've ever seen. I think, Joe, you bring up I think one of the strongest reasons for us not to do it, because you basically get 50,000 welfare cases,
extreme socialists,
and you would give them U.S. citizenship, which of course means that they could just come into the U.S. and become socialists in the U.S.
Yeah.
So this is a problem. But as long as they never got the opportunity to vote for a senator or a congressperson, I might be talked into it. Anyway, going along the Greenland thing, this next one is from Clash Report on X. European allies, including France and Germany, are coordinating a response in case the United States moves to take control of Greenland. We're going to write a strongly worded letter.
We're going to send the Wisconsin National Guard.
Who's that soldier saluting? Everybody else is facing the other way.
And he's saluting and facing sideways. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Unless he's supposed to make eye contact with his principal or something. Maybe if this is like, I don't know. Maybe he's just
very
distracted.
odd.
Yeah, that is kind of bizarre.
Okay, who is this one?
That's Mertz. That's the
okay.
The chancellor of. But Joe, evidently there is a special NATO or European commando brigade that's being formed, and they're doing maneuvers right now in order to prepare for this strongly to back up the strongly worded letter. Watcher, if you would click on the next the next one here, we're going to see the European task force that they're going to send in response.
Oh yeah,
this has audio. Hold on, let me prep that.
I mean, these are our allies.
God love them. Someone has to.
Is this like one of those Eurovision songs or something?
One can
maybe
assume.
That was Danish troops with the Greenland flag on their ship or on their tank.
I think that was like a high school marching band that was just on there.
No. That's the Koningsguard. That's the Kingsguard in Norway.
I mean, what's the difference? They're about the same as a high school marching band in America. I mean, Lord knows the high school marching band's more likely to have weapons than they are.
Probably got a lot more weapons experience here.
I'm sorry. I did not see you in the chat. Good morning. I was not doing that on purpose. I honestly didn't. I haven't been really looking at it.
Again, I would like to continuously just say that our new defense policy towards our allies who are not taking their defense seriously, i.e., have
it is one way to get them to spend enough money, isn't it, Washer?
That's what I'm saying. Like bully them into spending enough money, bully them into taking defense seriously. It's the only way. If your friend is too fat and he won't lose weight, how do you get him to start losing weight? You bully him.
Well, speaking of the bullying, it has begun. Evidently, as the bully is going into California now. Nick Shirley is now knocking on Gavin Newsom's door. Trump says investigation of California has begun as surgical truth bombs about corruption likely inbound. The Trump administration's tactical information operation delivered a surgical truth bomb on alleged large-scale welfare fraud tied to Somali-linked daycare networks, triggering a nationwide uproar amplified by citizen journalists that culminated in Governor Tim Walz's abrupt exit from the governor's race as he sought a third term. All signs suggest an informal welfare playbook is now being refined with California in the crosshairs. Did you guys see that he sent his daughter out to do ideological warfare on his behalf?
Yeah,
on social media. It's fucking
I saw that might have been her goal, and then she literally rolled on him in the middle of the interview.
I didn't even watch it.
Oh, you do? Okay, no, look. So, like, I'm sorry. The only quotes you have to hear of that were, "There was enough truth to the fraud." and then the next sentence, of course, she's like, which the Republicans tried to amplify, and it's like, what if there was enough truth to it? Then you dumb bitch.
Yeah. Well, this sounds like she didn't roll on him. She's just too stupid. It's kind of like those the Somali girl and the white woman who said fraud and then covered their mouth up
exactly
because it was a Freudian slip because they can't fucking say anything about it without dropping the goods.
Yeah. So now apparently California's next too.
Yeah. Well, so this is a little bit from Donald Trump. California under Governor Newsom is more corrupt than Minnesota, if that's possible. The fraud investigation of California has begun. Thank you for your attention on this matter. So essentially, people, I guess there's estimates that there could be as much as $250 billion or $250 billion worth of fraud in California.
Let me ask you this. Why are we all still paying taxes?
I know, right?
Because they're essentially taking your tax dollars and giving it to people who are stealing it.
What the sad thing is that so many of these Republicans in the House are actually fighting to continue these fraudulent programs.
Yeah.
And it's not even like it's just the Democrats. I mean, there's almost as many Republicans voting for this bullshit than.
Yeah.
What's most embarrassing for Tim Walz and the Democratic Party is that citizen journalists outmaneuvered the left wing, but it's more than Nick Shirley's reporting. There are ongoing federal investigations, private investigators, local politicians, and whistleblowers who have been spent years trying to expose Somali-like welfare fraud that could exceed $9 billion. That's the fraud in Minnesota. Timing is important given the upcoming midterm election. Talking about going on the offensive into the midterms, this is, I think, a way that you could absolutely dominate the midterms if they're able to fully expose the fraud in a lot of these Democratic states, and then B, you got to start fucking making arrests.
Agreed. I will say,
yes.
Similar but not quite the same note. It was nice to see that ICE did a big surge in Minneapolis yesterday.
That's a great point by Lost Corps. It's not stealing if they want the thieves to have the money.
Yep. It's even worse than theft. That's the thing that people haven't moved on to yet. And Nick Shirley fortunately has, and so have several other of the other investigators. But it's not theft if the state is covering for it and is just moving the money other places. That's simply called a black budget.
Yeah.
All right. It should also be noted that City Journal's Christopher Rufo launched an initial offensive against Walz and the local Democrats in late November. Now Trump is directing efforts to focus on California Governor Newsom. Let's see. Let's take a look at this. If you go to the Kevin Kelly, go down another one. Not this one.
Oh, not this one. This one was important.
Not this
one. Okay.
Oh, you want to? Yeah. That one. Let's go ahead because this is about the voter fraud.
Yes.
Here, and it's way beyond anybody's imagination. The total amount. The state doesn't even know. The feds don't even know.
And so, for instance, why would that judge bow down to the head of the Somali mafia here?
What I can tell you is that it's a voting bloc, and what they say is if you do something to go against our community, we're going to vote for, and they all vote together, and there's ballot harvesting, I've seen them do it, that we're going to vote for your opponent unless you do what we tell you to do.
And so is it all purely for votes?
Yes.
And so this building right here, Cedar Riverside, major, massive apartment complex. How many Somalians do you think live in there, for instance?
Well, this is just one complex. You've got 20 more just like this around the Twin Cities, and they're all Somali. You're talking probably 100,000 or more people, and they're all living rent-free. They're driving a vehicle that you paid for. They're eating food that you paid for. Everything they do is something that you paid for.
And for instance, that entire block will then go and vote for one specific candidate.
They'll have one person go there and collect all the ballots, and nobody tracks. They could say they have 9 people living in an apartment. They're going to send them 9 ballots. And then they have someone who comes along, collects all the ballots. And
so, yeah, it's pretty weaponized, the voting fraud there.
But at some point, people have to acknowledge that the promise that was the United States of America is done and has been for some time. So.
Let's move. Yeah. That's quite a black pill there, Joe, for this early in the morning.
I suppose we could ask Rock if this is true.
Well, I guess we could just discuss it, because I just said it's quite a black pill for this early in the morning. Don't you agree, Joe?
No. Reality is not blackpilling. Accepting objective reality is not blackpilling. It is the truth.
I think that's an opinion, Joe. I don't think that's necessarily objective reality. I think there are a lot of opposing signs to that, basically what you're saying is you should just give up on, what I'm hearing, right? I don't want to put words in your mouth. What I'm hearing when you say that is that we should just give up on America.
See, no, I hear differently.
That's not what I said at all. I said you should understand that the promise of America has been broken, right?
we can do something with that. We can restore it. We've done that before.
Yeah.
That has been a key mission before, to restore the promise of America in actually multiple different political campaigns.
Acknowledging the fact that somebody has broken their promise to you is the first step towards fixing that and correcting the problem. But hey, I'll just shut up.
No,
Well, nobody's asking you to shut up. I mean,
you kind of did.
No, I did not, Joe.
Your
I'd
word
like
for
You
blood pill for this early in the morning.
That's right. So that's a jumping off point for a discussion, Joe.
So I'll
That's
just
not
be
me telling you
cheerful
to shut
and
up.
happy all day.
I'm not asking you to be that either. I just want you to explain what you're saying a little more deeply. I want to be able
didn't
to have
realize
a
it
discussion
needed
about
it.
things.
I
I just want to be able to have a discussion about things that we may not see completely eye to eye. I'm not saying I disagree with you. I'm just saying I don't understand your position. You know, without saying it, like, without me saying I don't understand your position. You know, so I'm not telling you to shut up, Joe. I'm just asking for you to, elaborate on that. You know, that's all. You don't have to get upset about it.
I'm not.
Well, you said I told you to shut up. You said that, right? You told me I told you to shut up, right?
Okay, my apologies.
Okay, I take you don't need to apologize to me because I've never asked for one. But at the same time,
Is there a way in which we can move forward with the show today?
Sure.
if you wouldn't push pause, I'm not going to let you just bully me out of something.
I'm not bullying you.
No, you don't want to talk about it. I'm talking about it. So, I mean, you said something that I think is not untrue, but it's just one of those kind of things. It's just kind of dark, right? And I don't disagree with you, but it's just one of those kind of things that I think it. I wanted you to expand upon it. You did expand upon it, but what I resent is you telling me that I was telling you to shut up because I didn't do that, and that wasn't what I intended, and that's not what I said.
And I already told you that I was sorry, and I don't understand why we're still doing this, but. Let me just say, I didn't realize that there was a responsibility to not be dark.
No. I don't think that's the case. I mean, it's fine. You could be dark. I was saying that with humor when I said it, but I'm sorry I didn't come across that way. All right, let's move on, shall we?
Yeah, please.
Let's see. Here's more about the California fraud.
Okay, real quick. Somebody catch me up. I remember this person being on TV a lot more a while ago. Who's this again?
Hold on a second. Let's see. This is Kevin Keeley. He's the one talking on the right.
State auditor, which essentially christened California the fraud capital of the United States, with the number of agencies classified as high risk, meaning there's rampant fraud, abuse, mismanagement. It has doubled during Gavin Newsom's tenure from 4 agencies to 8 agencies. So we're talking about all kinds of fraud when it comes to Medicaid, when it comes to SNAP benefits, when it comes to uninsurance benefits. And all of this, by the way, comes on top of the incredible fraud and waste and mismanagement that we already knew about. The high-speed train where there's been no track laid in 17 years, spending $18 billion, the $32 billion during COVID at a minimum of unemployment insurance fraud, the $650 million on a canceled 911 next generation system that was canceled because the technology wasn't there. And so California is absolutely, under this governor, the fraud capital of the United States. And this is exactly the model that Governor Newsom wants to take to the rest of the country.
So, and when you're spending I was gonna say, when you're spending what is it, $24 billion on homeless funds, on homeless fraud, or $32 billion on homeless fraud rather, it's very easily to get to $250 billion, which is what the estimates are very quickly.
At that much money, you could, in theory, go give $100 million to every homeless person and thereby solve the problem.
Yeah.
There's no money in solving the problem.
Well, Joe, I had once heard the number is like $800,000 per year to these NGOs for the homeless people that they have. So they're actually being incentivized to create more homeless people. Versus actually putting them long term into shelters or whatever. And then you've got these fucking small. Did you see the tiny houses thing? they're making these little tiny houses for them to live in. Each one was like $500,000.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Well, and it's because of the way that they're doing it on purpose, to grift off the whole fucking thing. But yeah, a lot of homeless industrial complex bullshit that goes on. But one of the other sides of this that they mentioned it and then they just glazed right past it, which is the high-speed rail thing. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but as we've pointed out, the fraud on the high-speed rail, you can tell that that's going to be one of the areas that's going to be painful,
it's going to be huge.
because a bunch of them have come out and been like, no, it's been successful. Look, we've completed 6 projects. And then when you look into it, it's like, you completed 6 sections of 100-meter long test track.
For $5, Happy Plague Doctor says, "Gentlemen, you can't fight here. This is the war room. Hey, you want to see brothers fight? This is the place for it. You want to see a good fight? See what happens when me and Joe argue about who's better looking. Now that's a good one.
No, objective reality again comes into play.
That's right, and that's the reason why Though I did get pretty salty about this one up here, Joe. I don't know if you saw this.
I want to point something out though. That all the people in the comment making the chats, we are going to talk about the Russian tanker. Let us get there.
Yeah. We had it scheduled.
I'll be honest with you. One of the reasons why I wanted to pause is I wanted to hear. I mean, talk about the 48-hour rule. I wanted to get to 48 minutes after it had happened, so that we could actually. Hopefully, there was an announcement soon.
And for the record, when I said Russian, there's an asterisk around that. It's not
100%. Juan Gringo says, Joe, here, listen to this. Hey there, guys. I found this thing, and it just was like the other ones, but Joe looks younger than Scott on this one. Weird. Little Joe glazing there. Yeah, that's cool. I'm down with it. I love Joe. Uh-oh. Hat on, Scott is better looking. Hat off, Joe. No homo.
All right.
I'm about a step away from banning random PNW guys. But nah, he's welcome here.
And because he responded to you saying, quote, Kylie is wrong. The auditor's high-risk list does not allege wrongdoing or billions in currency lost. It is a management tool used to target complex programs for heightened oversight and corrective action. Representative Kylie's claims are flat out false and misrepresent both the state auditor's report and the facts. Quick, your reaction to this?
I'd invite anyone to read the audit. And by the way, there have been other audits, like the one that found that $24 billion was spent on homelessness, and they lost track of the money.
It's like, did the bookkeepers from the Pentagon move to California and start keeping their books, and now they can't pass an audit?
I mean, that's not probably that far from the truth, to be honest.
So here's the thing. It says here, we suspect Trump's Doge-style operations will spread to other deep blue states as the year progresses, given how reckless the Democratic Party has prioritized illegal aliens while spending taxpayer funds extremely liberally on welfare programs that are ripe for fraud. Yeah, I think, but the key is you got to do it inside of the whole, before all the early voting can begin by mail in all these states, going into the midterms. I think that's a winning strategy. Going after these the fraud in these blue states with actual concrete results, and then continuing these masculine, foreign policy moves. I think it's a winning strategy going into the midterms.
Well, I think that as well as the economy, of course.
Well, yeah.
Which. I mean,
in the interest of getting along, I'm not going to mention midterms. So,
yeah, I honestly don't want to think about them, if I'm honest. All right, moving on. So this is a little back coming out of Venezuela. Crude drops after Trump says Venezuela will transfer up to 50 million barrels to the U.S. So now this is only a small percentage of the. I don't know if this is in like. Actually pumped out of the ground already, or if this is like over time.
I think he's probably actually referring to Venezuela not contesting the seizure of ships we've already seized.
Yeah.
And it makes it sound cooler when he worded it this way.
Well, I wondered about that too, Joe, and maybe that, but like that first ship that they seized only had like 1 million barrels of oil on it, so you'd have to seize 50 ships, right? You know, in order to get there. So I imagine it's a mixture of oil from different sources. All of it eventually came from Venezuela. That's kind of how I'm reading this. Brent crude futures fell on the Truth Social post from President Trump. Said the official in Venezuela will transfer 30 to 50 million barrels of high quality sanctioned oil in the U.S. The oil will be sold at its market price, and that money will be controlled by me as the president of the United States to ensure that it is used to benefit. Now, I don't know that you can do that. I think it can go into the Treasury. But I don't know that he can then appropriate that money.
No, I think that he's saying
constitutionally.
But I think he's meaning that he's going to make the deals on how it's sold.
Yeah. That would make sense. What they need to do is refill the fucking petroleum reserves.
Well, interesting point of fact. Well, so that brings me to my next thing here. People see this figure in 30 to 50 million barrels. That sounds like a lot of barrels, right? How many barrels do we use per day in the U.S.? 17 million, roughly. So that's about 2 to 3 days worth of oil. It's good. It's good, and it's directionally correct, which I think is why the energy markets are going down. I don't think it's actually like that there is a glut on the market per se, but it's that, hey, this is flowing again. That's being taken into account.
So the authorized storage capacity of the Strategic Petroleum Reserve is 714 million barrels of oil. As of the middle of 2025, there was 395 million barrels in the reserve. So, and a lot of that was drawn down during the Biden administration in order to kind of bribe the market into lowering the price of gas. And it didn't work, right? It did, it's anyway. Point is that I think this 50 billion should go back in the fucking Strategic Petroleum Reserve. We should basically replace everything that Biden took out of it at a minimum.
That would be a good idea to get it started, so that you have get the refineries go. Well, that's actually not a refinery job. We really need the refineries to be moving, and if we just go dump the crude into the reserve, then that doesn't really help.
Well, you could do a little bit here and a little bit there, right? Like some could go into the reserves, and others could be it could actually be refined and turned into distillates and things like that. So he says, I have asked the Energy Secretary Chris Wright to execute this plan immediately. The oil will be taken by storage ships and brought directly to unloading docks in the United States. Let's see. An earlier Bloomberg report detailed how Chevron contracted 11 tankers scheduled to arrive later this month at a Venezuelan government-controlled ports in Jose and Bahia Grande. We are sure the Strategic Petroleum Reserve could use some of that Venezuelan crude. The U.S. ambassador to the United Nations on Monday said the enemies of his country cannot be allowed to control vast oil reserves, such as the ones in Venezuela under President Nicolas Maduro. Here's one of the interesting things I thought that I heard in coverage since this week, right? And you guys, if you've heard this too, just let me know. Oh, it's not just about drugs, and it's not just about grabbing Maduro. It's about the oil. And when we say it's about the oil, it's not just about getting it for us. It's about keeping it from the Chinese. So Joe, I'd like to think that the people in our audience didn't need to be told that, because we have been cluing them in all along on the web of connection to Maduro and the Venezuelans, through the CCP, through Iran, through Cuba. If anything, the biggest loser in all this may end up being Cuba, because they were basically supported as a welfare case by Venezuelan oil money.
So I've thought all along, and I believe that we've mentioned on the show, that the drug angle was just weak sauce anyway. It was a silly cover. Just tell the truth. I want to deny Venezuela to Russia and China. That's good enough. That is acceptable under the Monroe Doctrine. And I refuse to call it the Donroe Doctrine. But it absolutely is acceptable under that, and that's a valid reason to use military force. And
what has been interesting, Joe, is I totally agree with you. They led with the whole drug thing, and hey, we're going to put a bounty on him and all this kind of stuff, right? But they have been a little more forthcoming, I think, in talking about that. Stephen Miller kind of talked about it, when I think it was like MSNBC or somebody like that said, but you guys are going to take all the oil. He goes, you're damn right. We're going to take their, so I mean, it's, I guess they've at least kind of broke cover on some of this, but it's always been obvious to guys like us, I think.
Can I just add before we move on that Steve Miller remains the single greatest argument against anti-Semitism I have yet to encounter?
Yeah, he definitely
incredibly based.
I could definitely mainline quotes from him quite a bit. I won't lie. Let's see. Mike Walsh spoke less than 2 hours before Maduro made his first court appearance, not far from the UN. He says, we're not going to allow the Western Hemisphere to be used as a base of operation for our nation's adversaries. You cannot continue to have the largest energy reserves in the world under the control of adversaries of the United States, under the control of illegitimate leaders, and not benefiting the people of Venezuela. He insisted, however, that despite the U.S. president himself saying that the administration will be running Venezuela, the U.S. people will not be occupying the nation. There will be no war against Venezuela or its people. We are not occupying a country.
Can I just say that that there are our European allies are trying to play that up today on social media as a but you have a responsibility when you do something to a country to occupy it and make sure nothing happens.
Yeah. I don't even want to talk about Pam Bondi. She fucking pisses me off so much. Federal grand jury returned an indictment against Maduro and his wife in 2020 under first Trump administration. 5 other defendants were also named in the document, but not Flores. Bondi has since shared an unsealed indictment that charges Flores and the couple's son, who was not abducted with them, with trafficking drugs. Flores is also accused of ordering kidnapping and murders and accepting bribes. In the U.S., an unsealed indictment is effectively the withholding of formal criminal charges until the suspect had appeared in court. On Monday, Flores also appeared in court next to her husband and pleaded not guilty. Maduro's stunning it.
Interject here.
Yeah, go ahead.
It wouldn't be me if I didn't do this, but I have to object to whoever wrote this article's use of the term abducted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
Lawfully captured
Arrested
prisoners on the field of battle. Right.
I'm also rather peeved about every person that mentions that we got her and look at the bandages on her face. The woman is accused of running one of the most infamous torture dungeons the world has ever fucking seen. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's why I don't care that she has a banged up face when she appeared in court. Obviously, she attempted to put herself between Delta and her husband, and she took a butt stroke to the face for it. Oh, well.
Evidently, she is essentially the mastermind of that. I mean, Maduro used to be like Hugo Chavez's bus driver, and he elevated him because of his loyalty, and she basically glommed onto him because she was a party insider and a real piece of work from all accounts. And sounds like, she's definitely one of the kind of powers behind the throne, if you will. Let's see. The U.S. also has the power, meaning that there will likely be no accountability at the UN for its actions. The body's general secretary has already said he fears that there may have been a violation of international law in abducting a head of state from a foreign country. Name the law. Written by what country?
Right. Did we abduct Saddam Hussein? Or did we capture the head of state of an enemy combatant?
Well, we could name at least half a dozen examples, actually.
I mean, Joe, I think this is a good opportunity for maybe somebody in the chat who might not have heard this before. International law is not a real thing. It's
not. Yeah, there is no such thing.
Fantasy land. of ideas that liberals and communists like to make up in order to try to put handcuffs on countries like the United States. That's what it is.
It's a cudgel with which to beat people you don't like. And sure, there are agreements and conventions and things like that, but they're not laws.
Right. Like if two countries have a bilateral treaty, that is an agreement. They can either one of those countries can break that agreement at any time, and then that becomes that country being in bad faith. You know, this is one thing that people don't understand. The world, the international world, is a world of anarchy. There are no laws in that world.
Listen, even if you went with the Geneva Convention, he was a legitimate target, and so was his wife. So,
yeah. Somebody else is saying the UN's not a real thing. It is. The UN serves one actual legitimate purpose, and none of it has to do with laws or any of that. It's essentially just a forum to air grievances between nations officially. That's it. That is the entire
Janine
point.
Rogers is not wrong. There are so many international law experts on X. Rowan Court says, but what about galactic law?
You know what? Thank you. I'm actually going to start bringing that up.
international law is the same as comprehensive immigration reform. Both are poop. Yes.
All right. A statement from Gutierrez on Monday, read by the UN Political Affairs Chief, said he was deeply concerned about the possibility of intensification of instability in Venezuela, the potential impact on the region, and precedent it may set for how relations between and amongst the states are conducted. He added that the UN will support all efforts at dialogue between the U.S. and Venezuela. Well, we don't need your fucking help. We got their number. We'll give them a call when we need something.
You know, honestly, the most surprising part of this is that I haven't heard any like sovereign citizen like language out of this. Like, oh, you rode pirates, came and abducted. He was just traveling.
You know, I want to point out something. Rick Duke of Malta says arrested, not abducted. He was not arrested until he got on U.S. territory, which would be the Iwo Jima. He was captured and then he was arrested. It's a small legal point, but an important one. And people were asking about, so she's like Winnie Mandela. And I pointed out in the Rumble chat that, yes, most dictator wives are worse than their husbands, like Jill Biden.
Facts.
Yeah. Let's listen to this. I tell you, the more I hear P. Hegg says, the more I like what he says. Let's listen to what he has to say.
I mean, we spent decades and decades and purchased in blood and got nothing economically in return. And President Trump flips the script. He says through strategic action, we can ensure that we have access to additional wealth and resources, enabling a country to unleash that without having to spend American blood.
Yeah. So, somebody was trying to pull out this is just more blood for oil. Yeah, but this time with 100% less blood
and 100% more oil.
Actually benefit from the oil.
Exactly right, Joe.
As opposed to taking all the oil and then giving the money to the Kurds or to whomever to do nothing with. So,
all right, let's move on.
Kurds in one city in particular in Iran are laying down some hate. So good on them. But
yeah, I'd like to see some more footage of that. I have yet to see much.
There was some legit footage last night. What was the name of that town? It's on my locals page. But yeah,
hey, if you guys can find the link, drop it in the private because I want to talk about that. Anyway, we'll defer that for a moment. This is from via Clash Report on. So speaking of Venezuela, Cuba released the names of the 32 military officers killed during the U.S. operation that captured Nicolas Maduro, declaring 2 days of national mourning. The officers, aged 26 to 60, belong to Cuba's Armed Forces and Interior Ministry. The government did not specify their roles or how they died, saying that they were killed during combat or bombings.
I believe it was 67 is the oldest. So,
I mean, that's some old dudes in here. I mean, I'm looking at some of these faces. I'm like,
that first guy right there, I actually know who that is, and he is 67 years old.
Yeah, so. He guarded the Pope when he came through.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, the Pope's having a hard one. Can we say?
I mean, that's it. Carmen Shah. That's the name of the town.
Yeah. So, I mean, does it pay to be a member of the Cuban security forces, especially when they hey, you guys go and stop those Delta Force guys? Because don't worry, you got it. We trust you. You know, don't you believe in your own training?
I think it was TP on X who said it best. The life cycle of South American and or other armed special forces. Come up with really cool name, gets smoked immediately upon first contact with the enemy.
Yeah. Well, we saw a lot of that in Ukraine as well.
Oh shoot, I forgot, Scott. I was going to include their cool little buggy car, but I lost it.
Oh well.
Hold on, let me see. I could probably.
Here's the question: what was their real role? Bodyguards or minders? Like.
Oh, they were his handlers for sure.
Yeah, and so I think there's some interesting stuff going on there. Now they're trying to say that they were lined up and executed. Well, that's not true.
Well, I suppose. I mean, they were probably all down the same hallway. In that regard, they were lined up.
It's called a fatal funnel, kid.
Yeah. Hey, listen, when you hear the little birds whirring and you hear a bang and feet running down the hallway, don't step in the hallway. It's that simple. Stay in your room. I hate to be like crude like that, but honestly, if your building is being attacked, stay where you are. Leave it alone.
No, the rule I've always heard is if the black bus is overhead, you're already dead.
If you don't want to die, stay in your room. They're probably not coming to your room because they're not going to clear every room in the building. On that type of operation, you don't clear the whole thing. Just clear what you need. So,
all right. So hey, let's go ahead and. I'm seeing a lot more reports about the tanker, but I'm not seeing anything that's like that I can see that's actually substantive.
Okay.
Maybe we just wait till our topic 2 then.
Hopefully we'll get some video drop by then. Come on, State Department editors, get on that.
I'm looking in the trending news to see if there's anything there about it, but I don't see anything.
Well, while you search, Joe, would you like to take a moment and talk about tactical wisdom?
Yes.
It's my turn. Got you. I told Jim I had a great idea for an article last night, and then I totally forgot what it was. Oh, it's going to be. I'm going to be writing an article today about the between now and Friday, I guess, about the power outage in Berlin and the fact that, number one, the U.S. media is not talking about it at all because Antifa claimed responsibility for it. But what the lessons are from it and why you really, really, really need to be working on some form of communications and some form of heating your home in the winter.
Yeah.
This weekend we start a whole series of classes that are coming up. we got folks from 2 countries coming to these classes. Sure, one of them's Canada, and it's closer than North Dakota, but whatever. We got people coming for Winter Field Craft this weekend. Fortunately, we will now have enough snow for some snowshoe action. But so we're going to do that Winter Field Craft, where it's going to be very similar to the regular Field Craft course, but the skills in it, like the camouflage and the movement skills, are all adjusted for the winter. Like, we'll do some snowshoeing, we'll build some tree base observation posts and things like that. Practice actually operating in cold weather, which is important. You don't get to pick the weather when bad things happen. When we go to restore things, wink, wink. Then there's a couple days break, and the 15th and 16th, Kay will be here doing Ground Rod 1, where you learn to secure your phone, your computer, your online presence, and not give up the pattern of life stuff that led to Maduro's capture. And then 17th and 18th, Kay will be doing Gunfighter Concepts pistol right here at the camp. Couple days off, and we're back to Combatives Weekend, where you can come and learn unarmed defense, ground defense, stick fighting, knife fighting, and bayonet action, cold firearms, combatives, all that kind of good stuff. We have a lot of classes going on. Let this be the year when you get out and actually learn some stuff. Take some radio classes, take some small unit tactics classes, take some individual skills classes like mine all are, and actually learn to get out and move. Buy some books while you're there.
Yeah, if you haven't bought Joe's books, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
Sign up for my locals page, because you get to hear about things long before you hear about them anywhere else over there on at tacticalwisdom.locals.com.
Hey, 10 October 91, I got you. Hold on a second, I'm checking.
We don't accept pound sterling here.
Unless it's actual sterling silver.
Yeah, but it probably has Charles's face on it, and we don't acknowledge Charles as sovereign.
Yeah. It depends on how old it is, right?
Yeah, if it's got the old lady on it, then we're good.
Hey, we take silver and gold backs for classes and books, by the way, in case you're wondering.
By the way, if you so desire, you can send a PayPal message and just let me know in the chat, like he did. It basically said sent Scott a £5 PayPal question. All right, so let me see what we got here. All right, I have friends living in Trinidad and are worried for their family due to the threats from Venezuela over any who help the U.S. What reassurance can I give them, please? Here's what I would say. All those aircraft that flew into and over Venezuela in order just to grab one guy, imagine what they would do if they tried to conduct terrorist raids or other sorts of chicanery on countries that helped us launch those. It would be a bad day. I mean, I'll be honest with you. If they get too handsy with the populace there in Venezuela, it'll be a bad day for them. If they go outside of their bounds forget about it.
How many Marines do we have down there, Joe? It's like 1,800.
How many what?
How many Marines are down there as part of that detail still sitting off the coast? It's like 1,800 Marines.
Well, actually, an amphibious task force is about 3,200 when you combine the air wing, the ground wing, and the support. So the ground infantry fighters is probably about 1,800. It's a battalion.
There's an extremely angry group of Marines that are really pissed that those boys just got to do all of that, and we got to sit there on the boats looking out over the horizon going, but I wanna.
More importantly, there are probably 1,000 lance corporals pointing at the horizon and saying, there are big booty Latinas right over there, and they're not letting us near them.
Yeah, I don't get my big booty Latina medal. You guys got to admit, that was one of the better things that came out of the last 24 hours.
Yes.
It is. Although I did have to explain that to a poor Venezuelan person that was on social media being like, look at all these sexist American pigs calling for sex tourism. And I was like, no.
Did you guys see Alex Stein's latest protest?
No. What is it now?
Let me see if I can find. Let's see. He went to a protest. Kind of anti. Let me see if I can find it. See if I can find old Alex Stein. Alex Stein Primetime 99. There we go. It's
thing out.
Oh, go ahead, Joe. I'm sorry.
No. Oh, never mind. It's in another building now. I was going to point out that the current Arctic canteen looks a lot like a flask, and there's a reason for that. But it was just a fieldcraft lesson I was going to give on here, but I forgot I took that over to another building.
Well, while Scott's busy, I'll toss my ad up real quick. TrippingTreeFarmStore.com. Lots of good stuff.
Chimkins. I saw Wanda promoting your honey and stuff over on Facebook yesterday. And that was
very cool. Thank you, Wanda. Yeah, that chicken looked really good. You did. Yeah. It's good stuff.
You know, that is it's literally the most wholesome thing ever, if I can just say.
I love it.
Just a little. We don't have to watch the whole thing here.
Okay.
Marines getting Purple Hearts from chancla injuries.
From what injuries?
Chancla.
Like a shoe. Chancla, yeah.
Oh, God. Here we go.
I want to start off with a moment of silence. One of my best friends, Nick Ricada, he's a famous YouTuber and he's a legal expert. I'll be honest, him and I, we have a wild past. He got arrested with 28 grams of cocaine, and his kid also had a positive drug test for cocaine. And it was a really sad situation, Nick Ricada. And I love Nick, but he was on vacation, and his dog recently got into a toxic substance and died. And so I just want to take a moment to honor Sonny.
I didn't know about this part.
I didn't know that either.
Okay, now to business, city business. Flomo. Everybody knows we love Flower Mound. I love Flower Mound. I live here. I grind here. And Jen, you know, I'll be honest. Like, are you a cool mayor, Cheryl? Like one of the,
matter of opinion.
Well, I'm just saying, like, do you like to party?
All right.
They like to party.
Oh, man.
I want to get on to the part about Venezuela.
The drug dealer on the front. I'm like, I need an 8-ball. Why did we use American troops to protect the poppy fields in Afghanistan? So I think there's a double standard, and the CIA has been caught selling drugs. So I don't know why I can't just find freaking cheap cocaine anymore. And so, you know, I'm sick of Donald Trump outlawing my ability to access cocaine in this freaking city because Flomo's got the best blow. Flomo has got the best blow. But with all that being said, I just want to say, for all of the people that are seeking asylum out of Venezuela, all big booty Latinas are welcome at my place. All big booty Latinas, if you're a 9, you're fine. If you're a big booty Latina,
I will say, as long as we're here, there is something factual about that. The thing that. What am I trying to say here? So they repealed the temporary protective status that they had because of the Venezuelan government, and Democratic news outlet or like leftist news outlets tried to run it and say that they've invited them to apply for permanent residency. No, that's not what happened at all. The laws say that automatically happens once TPS is repealed. However, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he's limited those things that you can get in on to like 4,000, and he's specifically set those aside for Afrikaners. Hunt's got a rumble.
Yeah, put Hunch's. It's not a paid one, but it deserves to be on the screen.
Oh, okay. That's that was my confusion.
Yes, this is important.
How do you say that? Chancla?
Chancla.
The Chancla Brigade is the only unit of the Venezuelan military that would give us a problem. Her Delta went when they did because they were on an FTX.
Yeah, the ladies in the kitchen had gone home for the day, so they decided it was okay to go in.
I assume that's the dump truck brigade.
Well, you see, basically every South American mother has a mean chancla, and it will put you right. It will. Put
That's
you right with God.
That's the flip flops, right?
Yes, they will put you right with God.
All right. All right. On the brush beater ad, and then we'll get back on to the show. I swear to God, we won't get diverted anymore. Let's see. All right. So tonight we're referencing the boiling conflicts in Iran, Venezuela, Syria, flashpoints all across the map, regime fights, power struggles, and proxy worlds turning hot. When the world's hotspots erupt in unison, a global spread of civil wars and small wars, Joe, somebody, correctly predicted that one. When the world's hotspots erupt in unison, you'll need eyes that don't blink. Enter our sponsor, Brush Beater Store, led by NC Scout with fiber optics that dominate the darkness in any theater. From Iranian streets to Venezuelan vacuums and Syrian battlegrounds, Kyber Optics and Brush Beater Store gives you the upper hand. Kyber Optics PVS 14 Monica. By the way, those things are on sale right now, if I remember correctly. The PVS 14 is a fucking...
PVS 14 is gone.
Is it gone?
Sold out.
Is it sold out?
Yeah.
So that sucks. All right. So if you got one of those PVS 14s, make sure you run one of those lightweight skull crusher head mounts for marathon ops.
Maybe he's got that one. I thought it was out last night. It does not look like it's out. It is on sale.
It is on sale. Yeah.
Maybe you found a few more boxes.
This is a killer price, by the way, for one of these PVS 14s.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Listen, y'all, Hunch had his stolen last night or night before last. So anyway, they are great tools. You need them. So
really, or is that a reference to somebody, or did he really have it stolen?
Somebody broke into his truck and stole his PVS 14.
Oh, that fucking sucks.
I'm so sorry, Hunch. That sucks.
I was hoping that was a joke.
Me too.
Fuck, man. Anyway, that sucks, man. In the glaring chaos of multi-front conflicts, the Kyber Optics MDO locks a close emitter red dot with shake awake and 50,000 hour battery life, fast acquisition for any sudden flare-up. For overseeing sprawling battlefields or shifting alliances, the Kyber Optics 1x6 power LPVO serves up variable power with battle-hardened etched reticles, ready for close quarters chaos, long-range observation. Test the tactical edge in the dark room at Brush Beater's Yanceyville, North Carolina showroom, or arm up at brushbeater.store/collection/optics. Use code CFC10 for 5% off all Kyber Optics, night vision, radios, training. Orders over $100 shipped for free. Big thanks to Matt at the Brush Beater Store for fueling the council in future conflicts. Visit brushbeater.store, enter code CFC10, and illuminate the conflicts wherever they burn. All right, back to the show.
It's the dual tubes that are sold out and the actual PVS 14.
Oh, like the ITT PVS 14s, not the Wolf ones.
Yeah. And that Wolf one is still legit and solid. I know it says Gen 2 on there, but it's Gen 2 Plus. It is literally, you can't, unless you are a serious night vision nerd, you can't tell the difference between that and the Gen 3.
Yeah. I mean, easily be able to identify, man-sized targets out at 300 meters, which is, about all you could ever ask for at night. Now that is in good illumination. All right.
Map segment.
Yep. So we're going to start off with a map segment. What we got here is a map from the sometimes suspect, sometimes accurate folks over at the Institute for the Study of War. They have been known to be a little suspect when it comes to some of their dealings with information in the Ukrainian battlefield, but they try to keep it accurate, but they definitely have a bias. So just know that. If you look at these dots, these are all the places now that they're reporting, outbreaks of civilian unrest, with green being high confidence, yellow being medium confidence, and red being low confidence. Almost all of these are being supported by some sort of video upload, things like that. I think that the end of last week, the regime tried to turn off the internet, but clearly that didn't work because a lot more video has been getting out here recently. So hopefully we'll continue to be able to get these reports. So if you look right there, kind of like just due south of the Caspian Sea in the kind of the north central part of the country, that's Tehran. That's the capital. Everything else, if you look, this kind of heavy dotting on the western side, that's kind of like that core of populated area along both the coast and going up along the Iraqi border. The only green part of the country is right along the Caspian Sea border here in the north. And then out in Yazidi province and Sistan and Baluchistan province, it's pretty thin on the ground. So these are very what you wouldn't call like a densely populated. So that's one of the reasons why you don't see as many cities and things in those areas. And in these areas, they also have large minority populations, out that are not Persians. So they kind of keep to themselves, do their own thing. And Joe, I don't know if you know more about this than, but I've heard that there's a lot more armed groups of like local citizens and things like that in these areas, more so than what you see in other parts.
Yeah, Baluchistan province is essentially self-ruled, right? Because of armed militias. So
yeah,
and the same thing over in Kermanshah, where there is everywhere else there's unrest. In Kermanshah, there is an active battle going on for control of the city between Kurdish separatists and the IRGC.
Yeah,
So still awaiting more outcome. There was some very, very heavy fighting last night. It looked like heavy machine guns on both sides going at each other. Lots of tracers and all of that. So we'll have to see what the outcome ends up being of that. But it's going to be a tough time getting actual news out of Iran. So
yeah. So I'm gonna. This is an ad in here, Watcher. Kind of. I just found it here, and I'm taking the pic. I don't know if this is real. I just saw something. All right, so it's a bunch of guys with guns up in the air, but look right here. This looks like a fucking film camera.
And she has a loudspeaker on too.
Let's see. Let's listen to it. Yeah, I don't think it's real. I think that's something from a fucking movie or something like that. I was getting excited. I was like, "Well, that's a lot of fucking armed civilians there." Of course, it's too good to be true. There's a heavy crackdown by IRGC forces in Shiraz going on right now. Oh shit! There's video of the boarding. I just saw that.
Okay, let's go to that.
Well, no, I'm going to drop this. I'm going to put it down there, the link down in the next section, so it'll be ready when we get to it. All right, so let's go ahead and all right, where are we at? Let's see. Are we on the second link there?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So this is a Fox News story. Iran on the brink of protests move to take two cities, appeal to Trump. Abdan and Malakashai cities are reported taken over by the people celebrating in the streets, chanting death to Khamenei. Iranian protesters issue a direct appeal to President Donald Trump on Tuesday as unrest continued to spiral across the nation on the 10th day. The appeal shared on X showed a woman holding up a sign with the words "Trump, a symbol of peace. Don't let them kill us" on it. You definitely know how to appeal to his ego, and that will be a safe bet. The woman's cry for help came amidst the reports of at least 29 deaths and more than 1,200 arrests, according to human rights activists. They also said that the reporting of escalation enforced by security units includes the use of pellet guns, tear gas, and direct assaults on demonstrators. The National Guard, the National Council of Resistance of Iran has also claimed the cities of Abdan and Malakashai are effectively taken over by protesters. Today, there were major developments in these two western cities of Iran. They have been effectively taken over by the people who are actually celebrating in the street. Despite everything the regime has done, the fear factor seems to have shifted because people made the suppressive forces flee. And then, so you can see right there. motorcycle bound security forces, they do a pretty good job of getting around, but they also don't have much mass when they travel like that. Demonstration strikes and street gatherings have also been reported across dozens of cities in multiple provinces. So you remember the map, tons of different reportings. In Ilam province, witnesses and rice groups reported that tear gas was fired inside Imam Khomeini Hospital as authorities attempted to arrest. We saw that video on Monday. Amnesty International said the Iranian security forces attack on the hospital and, where protesters were seeking medical care violates international law. Well, Joe, there goes that pesky international law again.
There it is.
I would imagine it also breaks Iranian law, but they don't give a shit about that, obviously.
We are apparently announcing we have that ship under control, by the way.
Yeah, that's. I saw it. The U.S. Southcom is released on it. So
I know there were worries that they had some kind of palletized anti-aircraft on board.
Well, it evidently wasn't the case. All right, moving on. Iranian president says, "I believe I am at fault. We are the ones at fault. That student, that employee, those people are not at fault. Consequently, we must correct our performance. My duty is to the servant of the people, and your duty is to be problem solvers for the people, not to add more problems to existing ones." Did you see, guys, that they offered to pay them $7 per month? They're like, we want freedom, and they basically did the Pawn Store meme guy on it. He's like, you want freedom and economic prosperity? Best I can do is $7 a month. So yeah, I guess the people are not very impressed by that.
I want to point something out too, though. They keep calling these anti-Islamic protests. They're not. They're anti-Ayatollah protests, right? They're not going to suddenly change their religion because they overthrow the Ayatollah.
All right, so let's listen. These are some quotes from Reza Pahlavi. He's the son of the Shah, who is basically the crown prince. That's the president. He's the bad guy. Yeah, there we go.
Look, in all these years, I've never seen an opportunity as we see today in Iran. The Iranian people are more than ever committed to bring an end to this regime, as the world has witnessed in the last few days. The level of demonstrations unprecedented in Iran, over 100 cities and millions of people on the street chanting death to the dictator, an end to this regime. And by God, it is about time that Iran gets its opportunity to free itself from a tyrannical regime. Look,
let me point out that whoever replaces the Ayatollah may not be any better. It won't suddenly embrace democracy. Sure, they might be better than they were, but it is still the Middle East. It will still be the Islamic Republic of Iran, and there are still questions of what happens next. So,
yeah, that's a great point. I mean, we have this guy is not in Iran; he is in London. So,
and has not been in Iran for most of his life. So.
Yeah, he grew up, I think, in Washington, educated in England. So.
But and then, I am all for self-determination, and if they can free themselves of the Ayatollah, amen.
So there's another quote from him here. Watcher, go ahead.
Planning to go back to Iran. You have not been there many years. It was 1979 when the Ayatollah came back. He was in exile in France at the time. Do you plan on going back? Do you plan on having free elections? Have you thought about it?
Sean, at the call of my compatriots, I've stepped forward to lead this transition from this tyranny to a future democracy. My role is to help my compatriots achieve that goal, to bring about a peaceful end by means of a national referendum and a constitutional assembly. I'm impartial as to what the ultimate result will be, so long as it's a secular democracy. I've trained all my life to serve my nation. I'm there to serve and help them achieve that goal. And I'm more than ever ready to step in Iran as soon as the situation warrants itself. And I'll be there with my compatriots to lead the ultimate battle.
Can I point out the obvious here that Sean missed an opportunity to ask a follow-up question on? He is the crown prince who wants himself to be declared Shah. That's not democracy. And that does not support actual democracy.
That's a good point, and one that a lot of people have been a lot of the critics, I will say, have been kind of trotting this. As listen, you're hoping for liberal democracy. Like the people surrounding him are absolute monarchists, right?
Well,
like they
Jake
believe.
Points that out in the chat, right? Sean, are you an idiot? I'm an heir to the throne. I plan to be the king, right? I mean,
it's good to be the king.
It's good to be the king. And Hunter has a good point. He'll be dead within 72 hours landing in Iran. Yeah, it's entirely possible.
Yeah, unless he's got some pretty beefy security, and I don't know I don't know how beefy you could possibly make his security in a country like Iran.
I have it on fairly good authority that he's got a pretty good British team, but I don't know that they would be that willing to put their people in that nation. So he might have to get a new team, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. All right. So Islamic regime in Iran is starting to crack as practically the entire city of Adnan took to the streets today to protest against the Islamic regime. The police forces waved to them and applauded them from the roof of the police station. Now, so Joe, you mentioned something earlier. I think that's good to, one of the repressive forces that these people have been under has been the type of Islam that they have basically been forced to. And one of the things that I'm learning from this Tusi TV guy, right, is that there are a lot of Persians in the West. Now, that's the caveat, right? Persians in the West, right? They grew up in the Western world, right? That are like, no, we're not Islamists. We are basically just culturally Islam. We are Persians first and foremost. And the Persian, attitudes towards religion is way more secular than it is than the Arab culture. So basically saying we're not going to be like, the rest of the Arab world or whatever. But you got to remember, these people have grown up in this country since 1979. Under this fairly oppressive style of Islam, they can't just stop being Muslims. So don't think that
Pahlavi is a Shia Muslim. So
right. I mean, the best you could hope for is maybe a Turkey-like kind of like separation of church and state type of situation. But look how well that's gone for them in Turkey. If you know, you know. All right. Here we go. The Islamic regime. So this is that city that we were just talking about. Notice how close it is to Iraq. All the cities that you're really seeing a lot of freedom breaking out are close to Iraq because guess what? There's a lot of fucking weapons there. So they actually can tool up in order to potentially resist. The Islamic regime in Iran has lost control of the first city. The anti-regime protesters have taken full control of the city of Adnan. Let's see. Moving on. And this is Kerman, right? This is the one you were talking about, Joe.
Yeah.
A major city, Kerman, in South Iraq, with a population of over 500,000, has risen up against the Islamist Khamenei regime. Also, it's worth noting that this is a city that has I think, almost a plurality of Kurdish people versus Persian.
It was Kurdish militias that were fighting the fighting the government last night. And for the record, the MEK has been a legitimate fighting force in that part of Iran for decades. So,
Yeah. Aligned with the Peshmerga and the Kurdish authorities in Iraq. Well, you know what's going to happen, Joe, is the fucking Turks are probably going to do air assault into northern Iran and say, "There's PKK forces there. We're gonna attack and kill them all." MEK, you're just PKK with a different name.
all right.
That would be Turkey for you.
These guys haven't decided if they're committed enough to actually risk getting killed.
Well, yeah. So they're getting shot at, but unfortunately, they don't seem to have any weapons. So
it doesn't seem to be a very fine tactical movement.
So this guy right here on the ground is one of these Basiji guys. One of the militia, police. I guess it's kind of like gendarme is the best way to kind of the way I would, just from what I've been reading about them. Violence is never the answer, this guy says. Are you kidding me? What's crazy is how the Western leftists have they know exactly how to be on the wrong side of almost every issue.
Right.
Anti-regime protesters are rising up and taking control of entire cities. The Imam province, predominantly Kurdish region, the towns of Malakasha, Abnan are reportedly now fully under the control of the protesters. Demonstrations are taking place under the slogans "Death to the IRGC," "Death to Khamenei." This year is the year of blood. Sayyid Ali stepped down. Protesters are reported to have gained access to weapons. Members of the Bashi allegedly laid down their arms, climbed onto the roof of the police station, and announced their defection, declaring the armed forces are with the people. Local reports also claim that 12 IRGC and Basi members were killed in the Idlib area after the remaining regime forces withdrew. Joe, just from what I've been seeing, I think a small team of even if you're just armed with light arms, you can do a lot of fucking damage to these security forces that I've been seeing. Just in hit and run kind of tactics.
Yeah, it's a third world dictatorship. So they're not exactly a technologically advanced force that you're fighting. And as you saw, the winds changed there relatively quickly. One of the things about the Middle East is that strength is what's recognized, right? You might be the biggest kid on the block, but when you realize that your neighbor showed up with 12 other guys, you suddenly are like, yeah, screw them other dudes, we with you, because you don't want to die. Especially in a country where they chant death to everything, right? Like, death to milk expiration dates, whatever they don't like, they proclaim death for. They're very passionate.
Milk expiration.
I don't know. It's something that I complain about all the time.
No, I like it.
Here's a little known fact that when you buy milk in Montana, it gives you an expiration date for Montana and an expiration date for Wyoming. So I always make sure to tell my milk before I put it in the refrigerator that it's in Wyoming because it's a week longer than the Montana date.
There you go.
Anyway, I digress. But in a country like that, as winds are changing, you're going to see the security forces do that more and more often. However, I would point out that I would be concerned about how much heartfelt support that guy who just defected from killing your neighbors to joining your side, how loyal to you he really is. Although the Celis Scouts had very good success with the same program in Rhodesia. So,
all right, let's.
Hey, listen. We're talking about Canada's dairy cartel. 1979 is the last time Canada actually grew cojones, because in 1979 Canada helped smuggle out the American embassy staff. So.
I'm sorry. I just saw a meme in my timeline. I wasn't laughing at that. All right. Let's move on to our next topic here. We're going to start. This is the boatload of trouble, and we're going to start with the boat of the hour. In a No. Go to. I've dropped 2 new links in. So this is a tweet by U.S. Southern Command. Not that one.
The heck?
Just go to the first the first link, segment 2. Yeah, right there.
I see what I did. There you go. All right.
And you just blow up the video. All right. U.S. Southern Command, in a pre-dawn action this morning, the Department of War, in coordination with the Department of Homeland Security, apprehended a stateless sanctioned Dark Fleet motor tanker without incident. The interdicted vessel MT Sophia was operating in international waters and conducting illicit activities in the Caribbean Sea. The U.S. Coast Guard is escorting the MT Sophia to the U.S. for final disposition. Through Operation Southern Spear, the Department of War is unwavering in its mission to crush illicit activity in the Western Hemisphere. We will defend our homeland and restore security and strength across the Americas. Now, Watcher, if you would, just go down and look in the responses. Not your go for more. This one is the one I was looking at right here. You smell that? You smell that? Liberal butt hurt, son. Nothing else in the world smells like that. The smell of liberal butt hurt in the morning smells like freedom. Oh boy. A lot of people are pretty happy about the direction of things lately. And Putin is not going to be happy about this, Joe.
Yeah. You know, what's crazy is that you could just do things. You could just take other people's oil tankers. They don't want you to know this, but the oil's just free.
So I don't know if this is the same video. It looks like it might be, but on the next link, I was reading that other one, so I didn't. Joe, what are we looking at here? I mean, this is it looks like a Navy Blackhawk.
It's a Seahawk. Yeah. Look at the heat it's giving off. Anyway, you're seeing what we call VBSS, Visit Board Search and Seize. They're just going to come on, go up to take control of the bridge, take control of the engine room, and then explain to the captain that I am the captain now.
Who would be doing this? Is this Coast Guard, you think, or is this Navy SEALs? Or
I imagine there's a mixed force, right? There's probably some SEALs just in case. There's probably a Coast Guard maritime law enforcement team, and maybe a couple of Marines along for moral support, because everyone feels better when the Marines are around. But we've generally been boarding them with Marines, SEALs, and Coast Guard all together. Coast Guard to make it legal, and Marines and SEALs to make it happen either way.
Now, the Coast Guard are part of the Department of Homeland Security, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And listen, a Coast Guard TLAT, or Tactical Law Enforcement Team, or MLET, Maritime Law Enforcement Team, is every bit qualified special operators as anyone else. They're legitimate dudes.
So this next one was the first one you had opened up, Watcher. This has got some different, some just different images, so we know what we're looking at here. This is a Vicegrad 24 post. Russia has dispatched a submarine and several warships to escort the Shadow Fleet taker. I guess that's not going to happen now, huh? In an attempt to seize off the Venice coast, is now pursuing it. So this is video from the tanker, and that was a Coast Guard cutter. One of those, it looked like one of the Legend class cutters that will soon be the frigate for the Navy. The tanker Belor 1 has spent more than 2 weeks trying to bypass the U.S. blockade on Venezuela, but failed to dock and load cargo. In December, the vessel's crew repelled a U.S. attempt to board the ship and then sailed into the Atlantic Ocean. is now being pursued in international waters by the U.S. Coast Guard. The tanker has since re-registered as Russian and been named the Marinera. The crew painted a Russian flag on the hull. According to U.S. sources, Russia then asked Washington to stop pursuing what it claims is a Russian vessel. On Tuesday, Russia's foreign minister said it was following the situation around the tanker with concern. Yes.
Oh no, I think I have a video of the White House response to that. Hold on.
Okay. Yeah.
Let me see if I can. It'll be a second. I gotta find where that was.
Joe, I wonder what they did to repel the borders.
I imagine nothing. If you note, we decided to hit it right as it's on that GIUK gap and probably right over the SOSUS net, which means that we would have known exactly where the submarine was when we did this.
Yeah.
So
let's see. The ship is currently sailing about 300 miles south of Iceland towards the North Sea. And I doubt those Russian vessels got there in time.
Okay, so I apologize. It wasn't a video. All I've got is a still photo.
No.
Let's see.
Here's the thing. At the time in which we issued the order for it to be seized, it was not Russian flagged. You can't it's like committing a murder and then being like, oh, I just applied for a Russian passport with diplomatic immunity. No, you already committed the murder. You don't.
Yeah.
My other side of this is that presumably the point of changing your flag is that you were really Russian flagged all along, and people do that all the time, right? But if you were really Russian flagged all along, you'd have thought you'd have at least kept a single Russian flag anywhere on the vessel instead of having to break out the paint and paint it on the side of the hull.
Actually, I'm going to be honest with you. There's a reason why they didn't have a Russian flag on board. They knew they might get boarded, and they didn't want to have a Russian flag on board when they got boarded. Right? And so now they're in trouble. Yeah.
Speculation, gents, because I have reason to believe that there's something on board here. Because we said you guys know where this took off from, right? This is coming from Iran to Venezuela.
Yeah, if there's nothing on board, Russia wouldn't be going to the mats on this one, right?
Yeah.
Saying, hey, I'm sending a force to escort it. There has to be something on there, right? And I think that's why we decided to hit it, because we felt the same way. And I'm pretty sure our intelligence community knows exactly what's on board that boat, and that's why we've been chasing it all along. If it was truly empty and was just there to take on oil, we wouldn't have cared, right?
Yeah.
We would have kept it out.
Yeah. My theory is that whatever's on board there is going to make a lot of the people who are currently shrieking at us on the international stage less shrieky.
Well, here's the thing. They may very well, in order to kind of placate Russia and make a deal, they may basically say, hey, we're not going to say anything about what we found on this ship, but you know what it is and we know what it is.
I think that Donald Trump can't resist himself.
Yeah. All right. So final story of the day. This was before this one got a lot spicier by us actually boarding. So in addition to all the other stuff going on in this kind of crazy part of the world, Syria decided to break in half yesterday again with the SDF and the Syrian Democratic Forces, or the SDF, and the HTS backed Syrian government troops decided to go to blows in Aleppo. Let's see, at least 7 dead, 7 people, including 6 civilians and a Syrian soldier, have been killed in renewed clashes between the Syrian army and the Kurdish-led U.S.-backed Syrian Democratic Forces. Shouldn't that be like the U.S.-backed Syrian army and the Kurdish-led U.S.-backed Syrian Democratic Forces? Because don't we back both of them now?
It's literally the meme. My tax dollars, somehow also my tax dollars.
Let's see. Syria's defense ministry said clashes erupted after SDF drones targeted a military checkpoint. and Deir Hafir east over the northern province, fighting with heavy machine gun fire, drone attacks centered around two neighborhoods, the Sheikh Masoud and the Asharifiyah. The fighting came days after the SDF delegation held talks with the government in Damascus about integrating the SDF fighters into Syria's national army. In south of the country, Israeli forces launched an incursion with Israeli military vehicles storming Said al-Golan village in the countryside. Israeli soldiers have also set up checkpoints and raided homes in a village.
We call that
a
search operation.
Well, Joe, and reliably enough, Turkey demands Kurdish armed groups surrender their weapons. And that includes Kurdish armed groups, including in Syria, lay down their weapons. The PKK and all its affiliated groups must immediately cease all terrorist activity in regions where they are present, including in Syria. So they can't defend themselves in Syria, Joe. No, you can't do that. I mean, yeah. Here's the thing. I gotta love the symmetry of Marxist rebels and HTS Al Qaeda troops fighting and killing each other. It's a win-win. Let's see. Worst clashes yet between Syrian forces and SDF raise fears that a wider escalation. So supposedly these are the worst clashes since late 2024. And they're ongoing. Heavy artillery shelling, rockets are being fired, and drones were involved. There was a really good video, Joe. Let's see if I can find it here, just off the top of my head here. Let's see, Syria. They had how like they've got this this whole kind of love of technicals, right? In Syria. Well, they've taken it too far in this one. I'm going to just drop links in the private chat watcher just so you know where to pick them up. As soon as I find this, you'll be like, yes? Question mark. Of course, I go to look for it and I can't find it.
There appears to be a batting cage.
That's a very interesting anti-drone net on that.
Yeah, that one. That I thought that was rather.
Very literally welded them together.
I think it's literally like batting cage material. Like I don't even think that's metal. It looks like mesh.
Yeah, or like fencing or something, right?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
The BMP.
Yeah, the BMP 1, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm always sure these are people I definitely want to be on the same side of when I'm clicking on the video. Actually, here, I'll let you guys listen. This was the audio. Yeah, always the best when you get the Islamic. Definitely the good guys there.
Well, the irony is I think these are the Kurdish guys. So they're not even the really bad guys.
Was that a sock on the end of the main gun?
It looked like something like that.
A condom.
Keep the dust out of the barrel.
Oh
my God! You know what that looks like? It looks like one of those like laundry.
Like a laundry net.
Joe, you're gonna love this one. So this is a technical of all technicals.
This is very interesting.
They've put these to good work. I've seen.
What? They just blew the cab apart.
I would not want to be in the cab of that. Yeah.
So these are all Kurdish pieces, if I remember correctly. Let's see. Kurdish forces Aleppo, possess heavy. Let's see. The Asayish do not possess heavy artillery systems. They have access only to mortars. Any damage or footage that shows explosion or damage from an artillery strike has to be attributed to the Syrian government. Okay, so the Kurds don't have artillery. I don't believe that. I know for a fact that they have artillery. Yeah. The Syrian government is proudly publishing footage of their usage of heavy artillery and indiscriminate strikes on Kurdish neighborhoods in Aleppo. Yeah, well, I mean, shocking. Al Qaeda doesn't care about civilian damages.
Is that a D30?
Yeah, well, I thought it was a D32, but I don't think it is.
No, it's got the wrong bore, wrong muzzle.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there are a couple other things too. But that's all I got, guys. That's
Juan Cholo, well done.
A lot of stuff.
It's a reference to the Clash.
Oh, which one's that?
Juan Cholo. I have it on good authority. The Sharif don't like it.
The Sharif don't like it.
Rock the Casbah.
Rock the Casbah. Yep. Love that. That is a great fucking album. London, was it? Is that London
Calling?
Yeah.
And that was an absolutely great video too. So
I remember seeing that on MTV back in the day. Like
you could not make that video today because they would be screaming about Islamophobia and stereotypes. So
let's see.
Now everyone's running over to go to YouTube and watch the Rock the Casbah video.
I totally appreciate this. 10 October. I don't sub to this channel as I hate giving money to YouTube. So PayPal it is until you stream on Kick. I can sub there and get or you can come over to Rumble. If you came over to Rumble, you would get a free membership right now. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you would get one for free. For free.
Yeah, because Kevo 1973 just commented Jay in the chat and it was gifted a membership immediately upon commenting that. By the way, if you're in the chat right now, a good friend of the show over on Rumble, Low Key LARP, I think that's his, Low Key LARP donated 50. Was it 50? It was 50 gifted memberships. Which is very generous. So, Hunch Dirty Roofer for $5 says abducted is some feminine energy. We walked into the bedroom and gave Nikki an offer he couldn't refuse.
Oh yeah, well, as far as that goes, I think my favorite interpretation. Hold on, let me just grab it.
I think we could just say he was taken.
I liked this little reenactment. I don't know if you guys watched Brandon Herrera or not, but this was fun.
Here as
You notice the one who's wearing the Danny Archer Hawaiian shirt from Blood Diamond. By the way, I stand corrected. Rock the Casbah was a single released after London Calling.
Oh, so it must have came out on a. Yeah, that's what that's why I said London Calling. I was like, wait a second, is that the album that it's on? Yeah. But I can't remember what album it is on though. It is on one of their albums, but you're right, it came out first as a single. I just remember they were dressed in some like gas masks or whatever, like playing like rocking out onto gas masks in front of like an oil well or something like that.
Yep.
Like in the video. Yeah. You know what?
Yeah, there it is. There it is.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. I mean, we're not
written in response to, I think, the UAE declaring rock music as subversive and not in keeping with Islam, and that's why they decided to write the song. But
I mean, it's copyright claim in YouTube. I bring it because guess what?
We don't make money on YouTube.
I don't make money on YouTube. It just so you guys know how little I care about the money. We completely unmonetized all of our videos like over a year ago.
Yeah, a year.
This was back when I was still in Turkey. I think we did that.
Well, because they have too much control over your content when it's monetized.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, and plus, I like just not people not having that that ad on when they, when the show comes on. So, but we do appreciate the
Joe
super chats.
Strummer of the Clash did a version of Sergeant Mackenzie at the end of Black Hawk Down, which was actually pretty good. So, or no, the Minstrel Boy.
Hey, Joe. Somebody here has a parting shot. Somebody does have a recommendation that might make Greenland a little more palatable.
Okay.
A Buc-ee's.
Yeah.
You make it.
Well, I think the current idea is we just turn the entire island over to Buc-ee's.
The problem is there's not enough cars in Greenland to support 100 gas islands.
That's true.
Here's what I'm thinking. I think we need to export like Albertans to Greenland once. What we'll do, we'll use it as an Albertan sanctuary.
Yeah.
It's like it's free citizenship. Yeah, you have to live there for 5 years, but if you do that, you get your citizenship.
No, it's not going to be Buc-ee's land, Jay Clark. It's going to be Buc-ee's Istan.
Buc-ee's Istan, yeah. Buc-eestan, I think that's what you got to call it. Yeah. All right. Yeah, congratulations, Joe, on the mic theming. That's
seriously,
that's cool. Jarl of Vinland. By the way, Vinland Saga is a great fucking anime.
Well, all right, gents. I'm gonna go.
That's all I got.
In 14 hours.
Joe, any final thoughts? Go, middle of the week. What's your over and under on the fall of the regime in Iran?
Man, I am very loath to make any predictions because the last couple ones came true immediately after our show. Anything that the three of us said came through like by the end of the day. But I think you're going to see some pushback by the Iranian regime. They have to get this under control. It's an existential threat to them. So I think you're going to see drastic action by the Iranian regime. I don't know how it's going to go, though. So,
the best thing that you could do to all those freeloaders in Greenland would be to send a bunch of Texans there. Tell them it's tax free. You work up there tax free. But you gotta stay there for a little while.
You could make all of the states tax free and make them all prosperous. What an idea!
What an idea, Joe! Stop making so much sense over here.
I mean, we went
ivermectin
for 3% tax.
So. I do have one thing to say before we go. The tallow got here, so as soon as I can scrape myself out of my bed, I'll start making soap for you peeps.
All right, Watcher, you got any thoughts on what might happen in the near future?
No, just that. I think you need to watch leftists here at home. I think they kind of lost the initiative on this Maduro thing, but I think some of them are still going to be feeling quite crazy. I think they're also probably emboldened by what happened in Germany. That's an Antifa group that got away with a massive attack. If you guys look into that, it's fucking horrifying. Like the government evacuated a bunch of there was a place there where there were multiple buildings that there were old people in care homes and refugees in the same buildings, and they evacuated the refugees and left the old Germans to freeze. There's so many things on so many levels there that I'd actually look for maybe
German
some
government deciding who lives and dies. Where have I heard this before?
My prediction is that Russia is not going to take this this seizing of this oil ship very well. That being said, I don't know that there's a whole lot they can do about it.
Well, they will probably then seize an American ship somewhere. So,
yeah. They could just keep fighting the Ukrainians. That'd be all right. All right. That's about all we have for today. Thank you, chat. You guys are awesome. Thank you again. Luke, you are, brother. That was a very generous gift to both the chat and to us. We appreciate your support. If you haven't done already, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button on the videos. That is something that you can do that does help. Hit those like buttons. We had a more than average likes on one of our Rumble videos lately, and it did very well. So if anything you can do to help us with that, that'd be awesome. We will be back here on Friday, same time. I appreciate Joe and Watcher. You guys are making me look good. Thank you very much. Chat, you're awesome. As always, stay safe.